So in this video, I'm going to show you how to dropship on Amazon by reverse searching private label brands for profitable products and then obviously listing them on your own store and keeping track of all of it. Okay. Now this is going to be very, very, very similar to the same thing as Facebook Marketplace. Okay. So Facebook Marketplace, I specifically showed you how to dropship and find suppliers by reverse sniping on eBay, right? And then taking those same profitable listings from stores that are dropshipping and selling well and dropshipping them on Facebook. Now on Amazon, we're staying on the Amazon platform, but what you can do is you can use Amazon specifically to find private label brands and other dropshippers. Okay, now you can do this by basically finding a website you want to dropship from, Googling or searching online what their private label brands are. And I've already given you a starter list of these. Remember when we talked about it for eBay, I've given you that starter list, okay? And what you can do is then you can search for that private label brand specifically on Amazon, because then you know the person that's selling that private label brand is typically not the brand, okay? So it's typically one of two things. Either it's a used product and they're selling it as a used product on Amazon as a reseller, or they're drop shipping it onto the platform from that actual supplier, okay? So you can find drop shipping stores very, very easily. Now, I'm gonna avoid mainstays because I wanna hit the fact home that I don't recommend that you drop ship. When you're drop shipping on Amazon like this, I don't recommend that you drop ship from eBay. I don't recommend that you drop ship from Walmart, which is obviously, Mainstays is a Walmart brand, and I don't recommend that you drop ship from Home Depot. The reason that I say that is because most people, when they start, do that. So A, the competition is relatively high. The margins are relatively low. You can still find products, obviously, but I don't recommend it because most importantly, Amazon's onto that, and you don't want to be one of those people because God forbid they take one of those listings down or they hit everybody on one of those listings that's drop shipping. You're a prime target. So avoid those three suppliers. Don't do it. So let's go with an obscure one. Let's go with like Cobalt for Lowe's. And this is on the starter list, right? So what do? We type in the private label brand onto Amazon. Now, every one of these is probably, in most cases, either somebody that's buying it from at a relatively cheap price and shipping it into Amazon FBA, like you see here. This is a Prime listing, so we want to stay away from that. We don't want to compete with Prime listings unless the margin is ridiculously high and there's like one seller that's Prime, right? But typically, as a rule of thumb, avoid Prime listings. So what you're looking for is listings that aren't Prime, right? Like these two, for example, that do look like they're stock photos so that they could be drop shipped, right? And typically there's going to have a high number of sellers on those listings, and they're going to be drop shipping it from where? Well, they're going to be drop shipping it from Lowe's typically, because Cobalt is the Lowe's brand, right? So this is a Prime, we're going to avoid this. This is Prime, we're going to avoid this. This is an example of one that looks like, okay, only 10 left in stock, order soon. It looks like a stock image and it doesn't have Prime on it. So I'm going to open this up and we're going to check it out. Now, here's what we want to do, okay? When you're doing this, you want to copy the title, and you're going to right click and search Google for it, or just search Google. And does it pop up on Lowe's? Okay, so it does pop up on Lowe's right here. Again, one of the things I hit home before is you want to make sure that they are the exact same. So do your due diligence. If you spend time on nothing else and you want to spend your time wisely, make sure that the pictures all match, obviously, that it's like the same exact pictures representing the product. Make sure that the model number matches potentially, or the item number matches, or the UPC, or whatever product identifier it is matches. Make sure that it's not a variation listing. Make sure that it's not a bundle listing, meaning like this comes with the battery and that doesn't come with the battery or something like that. So read it, okay? Make sure that they match up. That's the most important thing that I can tell you, okay? So is this the same listing? It looks like this is the 40 volt lithium ion bare tool, 40 volt, 14 inch cordless electric chainsaw, ion bare tool 14 inch, battery charger not included, battery charger sold separately, not included. It looks to be very, very similar. 40 volt brushless chainsaw provides 140 cuts of 4x4 wood. Brushless chainsaw, where is it? Provides 40 volt brushless chainsaw provides 140 volt. So it looks like they literally took the same exact thing. So this is typically the same listing, okay? So we found a listing. Is it profitable, right? Can we buy it? Oh, well, there you go right there. This item is no longer sold on Lowe's.com. So either these people are sourcing this from some other place that would have potentially been a good one, or what it is probably most likely is this person just hasn't caught up to the fact they don't have like a stock system or an inventory system, which I will show you here. We're going to use SKU Grid. It's very, very easy to set up. And I'm going to show you that in a future lecture. So this is a bad product, okay? I'm going through this slowly on purpose. This is prime. We want to avoid this. Here we go. Here's an example of one. So $104. It doesn't look like there's 9 used and new offers, but none of them are prime. So let's check it out. It looks to be like stock photo. All right, here we go. So we still have no prime sellers on here. So that's good. We're going to right click this and search Google to try and find it on Lowe's. Cobalt 40 Max 5. Is this the 5? No, this is the 2.5. So that's 5 AH. This is 2.5 AH. So that's not what we're looking for. Here we go. That's Amazon, Walmart. So this could be a Walmart one. There it is right there. 2.5, 40, 2.5. It looks to be different picture. Okay, that's a similar picture. That's a similar picture. And it looks like it's on Walmart, but this could also be being drop shipped from Lowe's. So let's go try to find it. We're going to type Lowe's in at the end here. Let's go to the end and type Lowe's in. Here it is right here. I don't know why it didn't pop up right away. So, okay, there we have 2.5 AH, 40V, and it's $79.98. So this could be a potentially profitable listing, although the margin, it doesn't look like it's going to be a great margin, just off like gut feeling, because this is 104 and this is selling for 79. It could be profitable, but like we'll see the margin here in a second, and I'll show it to you. So right here, you have $104. It's the same exact listing, right? 2.5 AH, 2.5 AH, rechargeable lithium-ion, cordless power equipment battery, rechargeable lithium-ion, cordless power equipment battery. Looks to be the same. Item dimensions. So if there's like a UPC or an identifier here, I would check that out. Sometimes like for like electronics specifically, you'll see like a number in the thing. Make sure that that number shows up in the description at some point. It usually typically will. The dimensions here are going to be another good indicator. So where were they? Oh, 375. Item dimensions. Let's see. Don't see 375. Let's try to find the dimensions of this product really fast. I don't see it, but obviously I don't want to waste your time, so I'm not going to sit here and like, figure out specifically what the item specs are. I would do this and spend a lot more time on it if I was really going to list this product in dropship. But for the sake of just showing you, because I'm like 98% sure this is the same thing, here I would do a little bit more verification. Remember what I said is you want to be sure that they're the same exact product. But I'm like 98% sure that this is the same product. So let's go ahead and check it out, okay? So what are we going to do, right? What can we potentially source this for originally? Well, you can't just source it for $79.98 because obviously there's going to be taxes and potentially shipping. So you want to make swant to you add it to your cart first and foremost, because it might not be able to be shipped to your area. It might only be local pickup. Also, you want to see a tax, you want to get an estimate on taxes. And I always recommend that you take 10% of the estimate in taxes. That's high, right? I believe California is the highest in taxes at like 8%, I want to say, or something like that. But so if you take 10%, A, it's easy to calculate in your mind. B, it's going to give you a little bit of a cushion in your margin. And obviously, C, it's just like easy to calculate if for whatever reason it has free shipping. Well, then 10% is easy to calculate because of $79.98, 10% of that is $7.99 or whatever it is, right? So just easy to calculate. But I just want to take this to the cart to see, and we're going to see what the potential shipping charge is going to be. So we're going to ship to the home. And we're just going to start the checkout to see what it's going to be. So estimated tax is going to be $480. Shipping is free, so it's going to cost us about $85. I always overestimate just for, again, another cushion in your margin, right? I'd rather be overestimating here than underestimating. So $85 is going to be my estimate from Lowe's.com, okay? Now, what we basically want to do before we're estimating $85 on this specific product right here, right? But A, we need to know if we can sell it, number one, and we also need to know if it's even selling on Amazon to be worth our time, right? So $19,000 roughly in tools and home improvement, which is pretty solid, okay? We need to know, A, if we can sell it, and B, if it's selling. It is selling pretty well, but what I always recommend is get the Jungle Scout Chrome extension. You only need the Jungle Scout Chrome extension, not the web app. It's going to save you so much time. Look, it's estimating 360 monthly sales, 366, about 15 daily sales. This is a game changer. Get this. I will link it above for you. I'm not sure if there's a specific deal, but that is an affiliate link, but I have it as well. Highly recommend it. If you're planning on taking Amazon dropshipping seriously, this is a game changer, okay? Get it. It's going to save you so much time. As you scale your store and add more listings, you don't want to be doing everything manually, but I'm just going through and showing you this right now, just so you kind of understand it, and then we'll add kind of tools to your metaphorical dropshipping tool belt, okay? So we're going to take the ASIN here to make sure that we can sell it. You're going to take it into the back end of Seller Central, add a product, right? And then add it and add it as a product to see if you're able to sell it in new condition, and if there's any restrictions on it, right? So I already know that I'm able to sell this. I checked it. So I am able to sell this. Chances are you probably will be, but sometimes you're gated. So one of the things that you don't want to do is, you don't want to try to, go through and waste all your time just to find out at the end when you try to add it as a dropshipping product that you're gated, okay? So you might want to do that in the beginning when you're looking at it, just before you even waste any time on it, because if you can't sell it and you're gated for it, then there's no sense in even looking into the product, obviously. Another thing I will say about that too is, if you are gated, always request approval, okay? There's a slight chance that even if you're new, that you could get ungated. Chances are, if you're new, you probably won't get ungated for it. But like, if you start selling well, as you start doing this more and more on Amazon and you build up your seller metrics, you will get auto ungated for certain brands, auto ungated for certain products. It happens very, very easily, okay? So always check. Worst thing that can happen is they say, hey, submit some paperwork, and then you just X out of it and you don't go any further. But every once in a while, you will hit request approval when it's gated, and it will just automatically ungate you, okay? So always try. So now we're going to see if this is profitable for us, okay? So we want to check, it's telling us that the buy box right now is 104.44, but I don't want to trust that. I want to look at the new and used sellers. So the low price there is a used one. We're not really concerned with that. This one's the lowest one right here at 81 and new, but this person doesn't really have a lot of ratings. I personally do, so chances are rank higher than that. So just as like a rule of thumb, I would say, like, if you're starting new, always go with the cheapest new price. So that's probably what you're competing against. And so this would not be profitable, okay? So you don't want to do this. If you feel like you can sell this at a higher price point, obviously, because you can set your repricer up, I will show you that in a new lecture as well, so that it doesn't go below a certain price, so you never sell it lower than that, then it's all reward potentially and no risk, right? Because you're never going to go down to 64 or whatever anyway, or 74 or whatever anyway. So I want to see if this is profitable if I list it at 104.44. Let's find out. So now I'm going to go into the FBA calculator to make sure I'm profitable. I copied the ASIN, right? So I'm going to search that ASIN in the FBA calculator, and you can get the Amazon fulfillment by Amazon revenue calculator by just Googling it. When you're signed into Seller Central, you can find it and then click it. It's very, very easy to find. And this is a great one. There's other ones out there that are paid, but I'm just going to show you a free one right here because Amazon provides one for you, and it's very, very easy to use. You can see I've even saved it as like a bookmark up here, and I always use it when I'm dropshipping. Okay, this is my dropshipping browser. So right here, I believe the item price was 104.44. So that's what I'm potentially going to list this at, okay? And remember, you won't be competing. If you're like brand new, you're not going to be competing there. For the sake of just showing you an example, I kind of want to show you this. And every once in a while, when you put an ASIN in, it might ask you for the product dimensions or the estimated weight. You can just estimate that. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It can matter slightly, so you want to estimate or get it from the listing. But it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because you're not going to be shipping it into FBA much anyway, okay? So it's going to estimate based on the listing already, so I wouldn't really sweat that. Shipping is not going to cost you anything because the supplier is going to ship it, so don't worry about that, okay? You're only really interested in the item price and the cost of the product to you, okay? And we estimated the cost of the product was $85 from Lowe's, so let's calculate to make sure that we're profitable. And we are profitable at $3.77, so realistically, at this price point, I don't really want to make $3.77 every time I spend $85. It's not a good margin. It's only a 3.6% margin. So not really worth my time. You could list it if you want. It is still profitable, and it's all reward and really no risk because you're only going to make this $3.77 when you spend $85 on that listing, okay? That's a bad example. Let me try to find one more for you. So this is Prime. This is Prime. We're going to avoid those. Let's find one that might look somewhat decent here. All right, let's try this one. I was going to try to find a higher priced one, but This is $23 and it's not Prime. So let's try to find this. We're going to copy this and we're going to right click and search Google. Also, make sure that it's showing a picture of 3 here. Make sure that this is just a one thing and not like a here. Okay, so it's 3 of these, right? So you need to find the listing on Lowe's that has 3 of these, not just one. So 3-pack right here of 20-foot spool, 0.065 spool. So this is the listing right here, okay? And it looks like it's 2048. This is 23. So again, that's not a very good listing. Let's try to find one more. Prime, we want to avoid that. This isn't Prime and it looks to be $83. So cobalt lithium ion, here we go. Now it does have the battery included right here for $161.97, and this doesn't look to be Prime either. So we could also look for that, or the battery not included for $83. So we can find either of these on Lowe's, okay? And this might be the 110 mile per hour right there. Yeah, 110 mile per hour right there. And this is battery and charger included, okay? So assuming that this is the same thing, again, I want to stress the fact that you want to make sure, okay? So I'd probably spend a good 2-3 minutes literally verifying that this is exactly the same thing. It has a lot of the same specs. It's the same measurements. It has the same product identifiers or model numbers or something, all in the listing, okay? And you can find all that information like on the specific listing. The weight's a good indicator, the product dimensions and all that good stuff, okay? So this has the battery and charger included right here at $161.97, okay? So this seems to be a potentially good profitable listing. I know firsthand from Lowe's at $119, this is going to have free shipping. I'm going to overestimate at 10%. That's why I always say overestimate at 10%. And you can obviously do deliveries available. So it's going to be $120. I'm going to round up. I'm also going to take $12 because 10% of $120 is $12. So it's going to be $120 plus 12 is $132 is the cost to my customer from Lowe's, okay? And I just estimated that using 10% taxes and assuming free shipping, obviously, because I'm over the limit on Lowe's. Now, it's $132 to my customer. It's going to cost me $161.97 to ship or to get on the actual listing, okay? So I want to know if I'm profitable. Now, I want you to make sure, obviously, take the ACID into your Seller Central. You need to make sure that you can sell this, obviously, before you waste your time anymore. Also, you want to hit Jungle Scout, make sure it's selling. A lot of times you'll find a great listing and then it will have zeros here or it'll be crossed off. It means it's not selling. Avoid it. It's a waste of your time. So it is selling well. So now I'm going to take this obviously into the FBA calculator. And now we know that it was $132 was the cost of the product from Lowe's. And if we scroll up here, it's $161.97. It does say new and used though. So let's make sure that that's, yeah, new is $161.95. So we'll say $161.97, whatever. That's the buy box price. So $161.97 and calculate it. So it is profitable again, but again, the margin there is not very, very good, okay? So again, that's why I recommend that you use obscure suppliers. Now, we didn't really do much here. There's a number of other ones that you can check into. So chances are you can find a great one, okay? But this is just kind of an overview. You can do this with any private label brand on Amazon and find it, reverse engineer, find a good product that people are drop shipping, see if it's profitable, see if you can sell it, see if it's selling, and then list it onto Amazon, okay? It's really that simple. It doesn't take a lot of effort, and it's the same kind of general overview, except you're not using eBay and then listing it onto Facebook like I showed you before. Here, you're using Amazon and then listing it onto Amazon via your Seller Central. So in the next video specifically, I'm going to show you how to take this a step further, right? We're gonna stay on this listing. And what we're going to do is you can source like this by searching private label brands and then finding good items. This works very, very well, especially for beginners. And I recommend that you start here because it's going to it's going to teach you a lot about the process, okay? But then you can take it a step further. Once you find a listing that people are drop shipping, you can then come to all the offers and then check out all the stores here. And these are typically drop shipping stores with other drop shipping products, okay? So I'll show you that in the next tutorial. All right, so we're gonna take that last tutorial one step further here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing, but we're gonna go one step further. We found a drop shipping listing searching private label brands on Amazon, right? We search Cobalt, we look through some of the Cobalt listings. You can do this with pretty much any private label brand to find drop shippers, okay? I just showed you that. We found a drop shipping listing, okay? And so what we want to do is take it one step further and look at all the sellers on this. Now, obviously, Amazon Warehouse is not a drop shipper, okay? Amazon.com, not a drop shipper. This store right here just launched, not a drop. Well, they might be drop shipping, but I don't really care about them because they just launched. Okay. What we want to find is somebody that's rated well, that's been doing this for a little bit, and obviously, has experience doing this, because typically they're going to have some decent products. Okay. It's not always the case, because they could have potentially bought that account and just started, but typically speaking, that's usually the case. Okay. So I'm going to go after this one right here with 630. I'm going to right click and open this one. And then I'm also going to go over here to this one with over 1,000. We're going to right click and go to this one. Okay. I'm going to X out of this. I'm going to X out of this. We don't need this. I'm going to X out of the private label brand thing. We don't need this. But what I want to do, and what I want to hit home really fast, is you should be tracking all these things so that you can find your suppliers later, right? So if for whatever reason somebody goes and buys that product from you on Amazon, you're going to be able to it's going to show you, it's going to email you, and also pop up in your Seller Central with an order, right? And so you should keep track of those orders with the same dropshipping spreadsheet that I talk about with the Facebook Marketplace. Doesn't literally list, like I told you, list like the supply, like where it actually happened, right? Where the sale happened. So is it Facebook Marketplace? Is it Mercari? Is it Poshmark? Is it Amazon, right? Use that same spreadsheet when you get orders, okay? But this spreadsheet right here, you can set it up very, very similar. I recommend that you do this pretty much the same. You can modify it slightly if you want, but make sure you have all this information in there, is to keep track of where where to source your products, okay? So the supplier, where did we get that one? Well, we got it from Lowe's, right? The item, what was the item title on Amazon? I just X'd out of it, but I've copied literally the title on Amazon, so I know, because when I get an Amazon order, I'm going to come back and I can either search for that title here and find the corresponding link to the product, or I can search for the ASIN, right? So the ASIN is the same thing that we put into the product identify, or into the FBA calculator to identify the product. It's the same thing that we checked in Seller Central. The little digit. Let me just go find an ASIN to show you. Let's pull up a random listing here. So the ASIN is, obviously, if you scroll down, you'll see the thing that's the ASIN, which is the Amazon identification number, okay? You just want to copy the ASIN and put it in there, okay? So if we were dropshipping this listing and we found a supplier, we'd paste the ASIN in here. And you want to keep track of all of this. Do not avoid this. You're going to need all this information. The worst thing is when you get an order and you don't know where you actually, where your supplier is profitably. That's the last thing you want. Now, I always change these to like 8 or 10 just to kind of keep them organized and looking good. And then obviously you take the link to the product. So this would be like www.lowes.com. You would copy and paste that same URL where you sourced it. And I don't have that because I X'd out of it, right? But you like, it would be like something like this, right? It would look like this, right? You'd have the entire product source. And that way, when somebody comes and orders this ASIN on Amazon or this product right here, well, then you source it from Lowe's. Now, the next thing that I recommend that you do, and this is going to matter because when you set up your repricer, I'm going to show you how to do that. You're going to want to know what your minimum price is, right? What your break-even point is, or what you're willing to go and take profit-wise, right? So if we go back to the FBA calculator, this is a bad example of one because it's only a net profit of $5.67. But if this was a lot higher, for example, let's say the cost of the product here was only $70 and we put this in, we found a profitable product and I was like, oh, wow, like, cool. I can sell this at $161. I can buy this from the supplier at $70 and it's a $67 margin at 41%, right? So then obviously I go list this, I put it into, everything else. I'm going to show you how to put it into SKU Grid so it checks the inventory in a future tutorial. So that would also be a step here. And then later on, you're obviously going to put it in your repricer. So you're going to want to know your minimum price so your repricer can reprice according to the buy box, but never go below your minimum price. So you're still always profitable and you don't have to worry about it. The benefit of doing this on Amazon and drop shipping on Amazon is once you find a listing, it literally sits there and earns for you, and your repricer set up and SKU Grid is set up, your inventory program, all that's set up and your minimum price is set up. It's a lot more work than a Facebook Marketplace listing, but once everything's set up, you don't need to worry about it anymore. And so every product, adds more value to your store. That's why Amazon dropshipping is so valuable, and that's why there's so much potential there. But you need to find out your minimum price, right? So what I do then is I say like, okay, if the Amazon price is not $161, right? So the buy box price is no longer $161. Maybe somebody drops the price to like $140. Well, then we calculate what our net profit would be according to all these fees if we sourced it at $70 and all those other things, right? So that's totally fine. We're still profitable at $50, right? So we want to keep playing with this number up here on the item buy box price for Amazon until we find out, pretty much what we're comfortable taking. Now, sometimes I take this all the way down to like $1 or $2, simply because I'm willing to make the sale at a low margin like that. Just because I want to improve my metrics, and just because I'm willing to take a profit, just because I have the money and the cash flow and the credit to do it. So like any profit for me specifically is good profit in my opinion. And I'm more concerned about selling more and metrics, but you don't have to take that low of a margin. You can always, it depends on what you're comfortable with, right? You can always look for like a 10% margin or higher. You can always look for like a $5 or $10 profit margin. It really is up to you, but let's just play around with this number a little bit more. We'll take it down to 120. So somebody tanks the buy box price to 120 from 160. Well, we're still profitable at 30. What if they go to 99.99? Oh, didn't mean to do that. If they go to 99.99, are we still profitable? Okay, we're still profitable at $15, right? So that's still good. Well, what if they take it to 70? Okay, and then we're losing $10, okay? So we need to find that break-even point. Let's say you only want to go to like a $5 net profit. Well, what is that? Is that $80? No. Is it $90? Okay, there roughly is about 90. So you could say that your minimum price is 90. You could also go a little bit lower and say it might be 88. Okay, there you go. Perfect, 88. So then we're going to say like, okay, that's what I'm comfortable making. I'm comfortable making at very, very minimum my reprice to go all the way down to $4.80 profit margin if I sell this at 88 and I buy it at 70, right? So then right there, your minimum price is 88. So the reason you put this into your spreadsheet is so that when you go and put this into your repricer, you know what to set your minimum price at, because you're going to need to know that to reprice it, and you're never going to want your repricer to go below that. Otherwise, you'll be losing money, okay? So that's why I recommend setting this up. All this information is very, very similar. This is a different spreadsheet than your orders spreadsheet, right? So when you get an order, the one that I showed you earlier in the course. But when you're dropshipping on Amazon, these are all important things that you're going to need. So make sure that you have another spreadsheet for them, okay? Now let's move into the sourcing. So we found we took it one step further, right? We searched private label brands on Amazon. We found a dropshipping listings. Now we're finding stores on those listings that are dropshipping. We're going to go to their storefronts to see what types of products they're dropshipping, because typically speaking, people are creatures of habit. If they're drop shipping from Lowe's, then chances are a lot of their items in their store are, Lowe's drop shipping orders, right? And look, they're clearly drop shipping. They have a lot of pages, a lot of products, okay? Now, it isn't always the case, but typically, the first couple pages have some of the best listings here. So let's just pull up one as an example, right? And you do the same thing. You would take it one step further and you just go down this list and search all of these specific products here and find the supplier. Typically, it's going to be Lowe's, but you can Google this specific product and find the supplier, right? You can assume it's going to be Lowe's because, like I said, people are creatures of habit, but let's just find it, right? Is this a good listing, okay? Well, as you're going down, none of these are prime, right? So they're all being drop shipped clearly, okay? So we found one, let's check it out. Now, one thing I will say is when you're on this listing and you're clicking on the listing from someone's store like I just showed you, there won't be any people competing on this because you're just on their store specifically, right? So I'm just on their store. Nobody else is competing. So I need to actually search this again and find the Amazon listing, because while we're in Amazon, we're within home headquarters store on Amazon. So they're not competing with anybody, right? So I need to right click and search Amazon for this, or you just paste it into the search bar. And this is actually the right click. Where is it? Move this over there. That's the other store. The right-click search Amazon is actually it's a Google Chrome plugin. I believe it's just called right-click search Amazon, but you can find that, or you can literally just copy it and then paste it into the search bar just the same. But I just kind of wanted to touch on that. So we're looking for the Husqvarna 128 LD 17-inch, 128 LD 17-inch. There we go, Amazon's choice right there, although it is Prime, so probably not something we want to compete with unless you can source it relatively cheap. So we found it right there, detachable gas string trimmer. We did find it there. Just to verify and show you, I'm sure home headquarters or whoever that person was, home headquarters is probably on this listing. Home headquarters, there we are. We clearly found the right listing. Now it's sold by Amazon, so we clearly want to avoid this, and it's Prime. This is a bad listing, okay? But just to show you, let me even see, like, assuming it wasn't being sold by Amazon, assuming it wasn't a Prime, is it a good product to find? Now we do the same thing, right? We took it one step further. We want to search Google for this now. So we're going to search Google. Typically, it's going to be Lowe's because, like I said, most people are creatures of habit. If they're dropshipping from Lowe's, chances are most of their listings are going to be from Lowe's or maybe one or two other places. You're rarely going to find a store that's like dropshipping from like 100 different places. It's typically roughly the same usual places, okay? And this is $199 on Lowe's. It's selling for $219 on Amazon. So there's a difference there, but it's really not going to be that profitable. Let's find one that potentially is. So this one's Filter Light. Let's go after something like this. This is a bestseller. And typically, this is not always the case, so you can, if you have more time, avoid ones with like Amazon's Choice or bestseller tags because usually the price is going to drop on those a lot, and usually Amazon's going to be on those listings, okay? Or they're going to be very competitive. Let me go check this one out. So again, we're in their store, right? Home headquarters, we're in their store. So there's nobody competing on this listing. So we need to take it one step further and actually search Amazon for this. So you can copy and paste this into the Amazon search bar, or you can just right click search Amazon if you've downloaded it. And again, this is an Amazon's Choice, I believe 20 ounce. And so look how much the price dropped. So that's a perfect example of that. We're going to avoid that one. Now let's try this, I guess. And we're going to right click. We're going to search Amazon. Filter Light right there. 1550s. The price has dropped significantly, and that's typically going to be the case on a lot of times. So their price is obviously listed high. Again, this is a prime listing with Amazon, so that's one we're going to avoid. Let's go down a little bit. Let's try to find one. Let's Summer Deluxe Stairway. We're going to right click and search this on Amazon first, right? Because we're in their store. And then when we find that, so Summer Deluxe Hallway, simple, 32-inch. And this one is also prime and probably sold by Amazon, so that's a bad one. And this one, the Bosch Power Tools. We're going to copy this, search Amazon. We're looking for the Bosch Power Tools, Combo Kit CLP, Combo Kit CLP K22. 120, 12 volt, 120, 12 volt. So there's that listing right there. We found the listing right there. As you can see, Amazon is on this, which is not a good sign, but it is not prime. So maybe this is going to be a potentially good listing. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to right click and search Google to find this. It's probably going to be Lowe's again, remember. So Bosch Power Tool, Combo Kit. There it is right there. Bam. And it's 99 on Lowe's. Obviously not profitable right here. So that's another bad example, okay? Now, I'm not going to waste your time, but if you do this with some stores, sometimes you'll find duds of stores where like they just have all their products overpriced, and there's clearly a lot of products here. But just like I showed you before, it's the same overall thing. You want to find a product, you want to search for it, obviously find the supplier, and then you want to see if you're profitable, okay? But one thing I do want to say is if you're coming from a store like this, if you're coming from somebody else's store, look, Oasis 7, we're on their store, and you click on a listing, remember on that specific listing, because you came from their store, they're not going to have competition. So you need to actually take it one step further and search Amazon for that, okay? And then you can just keep doing this, and you can either search private label brands on Amazon, or you can search private label brands on Amazon, find stores, and then reverse engineer those stores' best listings. You can even outsource this to a VA if you don't want to spend the time on it, right? And then all you need to do is, it's a lot like that store specifically had a lot of products. If we go back to this other store, Oasis 748 Marketing, this one also this store has even more products. But basically you can go down these products right here, and typically these are all going to be dropship products, right? So I'll check one more for you really fast, but you can do this on your own, and you can find products just the same like this. And remember, it's the same with Amazon. It's a slower process, but because it's a slower process, once you find a good listing, that listing is going to sit there and potentially sell and earn for you, honestly, for the foreseeable future, okay? So this is the Ninja 72-ounce 1,000-watt base, Ninja 72-ounce countertop 1,000-watt base, and this is a Amazon's Choice, Amazon selling it, and Prime. So we're going to avoid this one as well. But that's basically just showing you the tip of the iceberg here. Obviously, you're just going to go down their product list, do every single thing again, and figure out and reverse engineer where they're being sourced from. Obviously, the majority of these are probably Lowe's. But you might see other ones in there. Chances are they're not drop shipping all of Lowe's inventory at 125 pages. But then you're literally just going to go down. You know, all these products are products that can be drop shipped. So you want to find out if they're profitable, because they wouldn't all be in this person's store here and been listed. They are clearly profitable and good drop shipping products at some point. So you just need to find the ones that in this person's store that are still profitable and can be drop shipped. Okay. So that's the second way that you can find profitable products to drop ship on Amazon.